It is TCU in the purple that has the game's first possession. Frogs come in having won their last 2 games, so they're looking for a 3-game winning streak. But to get it, they have to win in a tough environment. Ouellette kicks, punch, puts up the first shot of the game. It rims out. And a rebound for Deshaun Jackson. He's that Cyclone lineup for TJ Otzelberger. Momchilovich back in the starting lineup. And Otzelberger told us a short time ago, for now, no limit on minutes. We'll see how his cardio holds up. Loose ball, diving forward, Uday, and TCU has it as Milan misses his first shot.
It'll be interesting to watch his conditioning just from the excitement to start the game. You know, the atmosphere like this, you're excited to get back. Can he calm his nerves and settle down?
Well, missed by Brendan Wenzel, so TCU's missed their first 2. Jamie Dixon's team again coming in with a couple of straight wins. And 5 and 6 in conference play. Momchilovich looking for Jefferson. Skip pass by Josh Lipsey. He's been playing with a bad thumb. His bounce pass goes out of bounds and a turnover for Iowa State. Not only were they dealing with Momchilovich, who didn't practice until Wednesday, but Lipsey was only playing in games the last few weeks and not practicing with a thumb issue.
He's been out for 3 weeks of practice, and this is the first time we talk about recess, the first time they've had their team full complement roster of players and the ability to practice. It's something you just don't get this late in the season when you're missing it, trying to conform the way they practice to get everyone back. Now they're able to get after you, play their physical brand of basketball.
Punch.
And you can see it on the defensive end.
Yeah, right there, he traveled. So Lipsey returned to practice on Wednesday, as did Momchilovich. He's got that right thumb taped up. And it's not that guys are 100%. This is the point of the year nobody is.
No one is. But he's been the one guy doing this slump. Offensively, he's been really, really good. He's played really well, carrying maybe too much responsibility offensively.
Momchilovich can't quite get that first shot to go. He's missed his first couple from the floor and on the sideline and out.
And that's what you've been seeing from Iowa State. I mean, this is going to be a difficult game. Both teams are really good defensively. Regarding TCU, you got to get back in transition and you got to rebound.
And TCU, 2 shots, 2 turnovers, no scoring through the first couple minutes of the game. Jefferson sends it high to Momchilovich. Jackson rolls, tried to get it to him, ball's loose, and now the Cyclones have turned it over for a second time. On the run, Deshaun Ouellette. There'll be no third opportunity.
And when you're playing TCU, that's the type of style you're going to have to play. They're physical and tough inside as well.
Get it down low to Jackson. That's the answer in the game's first points for Deshaun Jackson. He is a force down low.
Jackson does a great job of just running the floor. Gets to the rim run. No one comes over late. Nothing you can do but foul. Deshaun Jackson with the and one opportunity here to get the Cyclones on the board.
The Cyclones bring in their first subs of the game. Nate Heisey is checked in.
I think now this is the lineup with Momchilovich as your 4. He gets to stretch to 4 instead of being a big 3. I think his biggest advantage on the offensive end of the floor. So when he slides down to that 4 spot, it opens up the floor for the guards. So you can see Iowa State start the possession by extending their defense.
Brant Chatfield is checked in. TJ Otzelberger told us before the game, Randolph, hey, I'm going to play a lot of bodies early. Just try to get some rhythm and some flow going. Punch from just inside the lane. It turned into a lob for Uday. I think that was just a straight shot. It might have gone in. We'll never know. That's underneath the basket, and they throw it away. And the Cyclones have 3 turnovers. Uday just kind of came flying in at the last moment. Was this a shot or a lob?
I thought it was a floater. From the looks of that, I thought he was looking to shoot it.
I thought it was a shot, too.
can't be upset with that. If Uday goes up and slams that, you want him dunking everything near the rim. You're okay with that type of offensive aggressiveness here early.
Well, TCU 0 for 5 from the field, 2 turnovers. They're only down 3-0, and we're 3 minutes in, though. Ouellette's been hot recently. Reynolds trying to get to the rim, drew some contact, and he'll get a chance to get the Frogs on the board from the foul line.
Reynolds and Ouellette have really carried this team on the offensive floor, and they're going to have to do so here early in the first half to get TCU going. But I think they're going to eventually need a third scorer, a third guy to consistently step up and help this backcourt out.
Well, the win over West Virginia in Fort Worth earlier in the week, Jamie Dixon picked up his 500th career win. Most of those came at Pitt, but 172 now at TCU. And we talked with Jamie before the game. It's been a tough week. Recently losing his dad, Jim. Oh, the free throws. They get a 3-2 game. Took about 3.5 minutes for TCU to get on the board. Drive, that's a floater. And it's up and in for Curtis Jones, who's coming back off the bench with Momchilovich in the starting lineup today.
And that's what you're going to see with the guards now. With everyone, their full complement of players is that the paint will open up now. The defense and the defensive intensity has always been there.
Ouellette stopped and sealed off, stolen by Jefferson. Joshua takes it all the way to the rim and lays it in.
Such a talented player, physical, active hands. People don't realize he's one of the top defenders and steals in the Big 12.
Blocked away by Chatfield. It's going to stay with TCU. But we come to a timeout. The Joshua Jefferson train wasn't moving all that fast, but don't get in the way, Randolph.
You don't want to get in the way. You see that coming, you make a business decision there and get out of the way for an easy 2.
What do I do with those? Hang on, here we go.
Today's Papa John's of Iowa.
All right, I'm ready.
Section 205, row 5. Fans seated in the lucky row will receive free pizza courtesy of Papa John's of Iowa if the Cyclones are leading.
Coming up tonight on ESPN at 6:30 Eastern, a Sonic blockbuster with Dickie V on the call. Cooper Flagg and number 2 Duke take on Chase Hunter and Clemson, who are just a game behind the Blue Devils atop the ACC standings. Another timeout. We'll be back with more second half action from Ames after this.
Our winner will receive a $100 size locker room gift card.
Some serious multitasking you got going there. Let's go.
Question number 1. You can't stop the beat. Which musical is this song from? Was it Grease, Hairspray, or West Side Story?
Man, I haven't scored a field goal yet.
Question number 2.
We had a block shot under there, but they took it away.
Which band performed this as the Friends theme song?
That's back to 0 for
The
5.
Red Brands, Matchbox 20, or Third Eye
Block
Blind?
shot.
And our final question. You had me in hello. Which movie is this line from? Is it Pretty Woman, Jerry Maguire, or The Notebook? Congratulations to our winner and a special thanks to Community Choice Credit Union. With up to 3 months of no car payments, the Smart Choice is another one from Community Choice. It's not unusual. It's not banking.
Well, TCU's points came from the line. They're 0 for 5 from the field with 3 turnovers to start. And last in the conference in three-point shooting and overall points per game, and next to last in assists and field goals. This is a team that lost their top 7 scorers from last year and just trying to find some of that offensive rhythm.
Yeah, they're offensively challenged. Their shot making, they put so much responsibility on their guards in their backcourt. They not only have to score, they have to create offense for others. And when they're struggling to get downhill and get to the rim, it just puts so much pressure on these backcourt of Reynolds and Ouellette. And against this defense they're playing against today, they're going to need someone else to step up and knock down shots. But you cannot turn that basketball over. 3 turnovers in 5 possessions.
TCU back-to-back wins. They beat Colorado and West Virginia in Fort Worth. You know, TCU did not start the game against West Virginia well at all on Wednesday night. In fact, TCU only had 2 points through the first 6.5 minutes of that game.
But Jamie reminded us he started out 2-0, so they were up early.
That's right. Yes, that's true. They did score the first basket of that game. Trey White's in the game, and he drains a 3. You know, this is a guy last year was the best player on the floor in a game at Kentucky when he was with UNC Wilmington when they won at Rupp Arena.
He was a 20-point game scorer. And he comes in, and again, he's the only experience they have from the bench. Other than that, it's a bunch of freshmen. And you can't always rely on the young freshmen in an environment like this.
Curtis Jones being aggressive. He's fouled. Freshman Micah Robinson earned the foul, his first. TCU has Malik Diallo in the game now as well.
You'll see both teams go to their bench and get active early. You know, the adrenaline, the atmosphere. It's a big game for both teams. TCU is beginning to play well. They're trying to get their 3rd win. And again, Iowa State's just trying to regain their confidence and reset and get themselves back on track.
Yeah, this is a team, Randolph, I mean, before these last 3 games, not only were they clicking offensively, they were clicking defensively. They had the whole package going.
Yes, they had the balance. And again, defensively, they've always been solid. And you can see that now. But they've struggled on this end of the floor, on the offensive end. And when you struggle like that, you can't set your defense. That's been their issue. They've just been so bad. And then, look, lack of confidence as well. And now you see the energy they're feeding off this crowd. They got a compliment of everyone being back.
Jones, who's an 83% free throw shooter, misses both, but the putback by Jefferson, and they still wind up with a couple of points that trip down the floor. Here's Diallo on Jefferson, and Diallo thought he was about to get to the rim, but Brant Chatfield closed that gap in a hurry and does pick up a foul.
Yeah, Jefferson didn't realize the help was coming. Chatfield came over and bailed him out at the end, but letting them know now you didn't have to foul. I got your back.
They did give that foul to Jefferson on the backside. So it's Diallo at the line. He's just a 38% foul shooter this year, and just a little bit long with the first.
And you're just hoping he makes one. He's got a big. They're struggling from the free throw line, shooting 37% coming in. He's missed one. You're hoping you just get 1 point out of that.
So Jackson back in, along with Watson. I should say Gilbert for Iowa State. All right, if you're TCU, you'll take that split right there.
He's made 1 out of 2 and his free throw percentage is going up.
It's going up.
It's going up. Think positive. Think positive.
Uday checks in as Diallo takes a seat. And Iowa State with the ball in a 3-point lead. Keyshawn Gilbert. Posey now in the game. Number 41 for TCU in purple. 8 to shoot for Gilbert.
Really good defense by TCU. Staying in front of the basketball.
Jefferson able to get a little half step on the freshman Robinson and kiss that in. He has 6.
Again, as we talked about, a big factor in this game is controlling the paint. TCU chose to pressure the bigs on the perimeter. West Virginia and Arizona and some of the teams since then have been staying in the paint, clogging the lane up, choosing not to guard Iowa State bigs on the perimeter. TCU chose to go out and extend their defense and allowing Jackson and Jefferson to drive the paint if they want.
Jones and 1.
And that's what you benefit from if you do that. If you're going to guard those other bigs on the perimeter, you're opening up the perimeter, not just for the front line, you're opening up for the guards. And Jones was terrific first half of the season, just scoring up into the last 3 games, averaging over 20 points a game. Doing just that.
Well, the Cyclones missed their first 2 shots of the game, and since then they've hit their next 6. Jones, who uncharacteristically missed 2 free throws a short time ago. Back in rhythm and gives the Cyclones their largest lead of 8.
Great start for Jones. You're talking the first 8 games in the Big 12. He was averaging 22 a game. These last 3 games, he's averaged 9 points a game.
And he's a guy, with the exception of starting recently because of the Momchilovich injury, really was a guy who was the 6th man, but arguably would be first-team all-conference with the numbers he's putting up.
He's a starter coming off your bench. That's what he's been. But he slid up the scouting report as White knocks down another 3. Great dribble penetration from the Horned Frogs, and White comes in and knocks down 2 threes.
And he's been a relatively quiet contributor for TCU. Got a piece of that. It's going to be a TCU foul on Uday.
White needs to be a scorer for this team. He needs to come in and be aggressive again. We talked about him in the past being a 20-point game scorer coming in, and it's not a great 3-point shooter, but he's really good. He gets a chance to step into those too, and if he can get it going and score for the offensive unit that's been challenged, it bodes well for him.
He's trying to stop Jackson there and is able to get that ball to bounce out. White held his ground defensively and stayed vertical. Here is Trazarian. I mentioned that game he had at Rupp Arena last year. He had 27 points and 10 rebounds. And UNCW won at Kentucky last year. He was a big reason why. Alette fighting Uday in a crowd of white shirts. And it's tied up, and the possession arrow will give it to Iowa State.
That possession right there exemplifies what this game is going to boil down to. When it gets up on the glass, who gets it?
Uday and Diallo down low for TCU will certainly have their hands full today against that Jackson-Jefferson combination for Iowa State.
They will, and physicality that both front lines play with.
Gilbert threaded his way through traffic, and a lob for Heisey, who gets his first points off the bench today.
Gilbert with the split of the ball screen defense gets down and throws a perfect pass.
Gilbert thought he had the steal. Rick Crawford says that's a foul.
Gilbert thought he had one there. Just really aggressive in the ball screen defense. TJ's looks on, doesn't like the call. Look at the split there, and just a perfect pass. And this is what's happening too now, even for Gilbert. There's a level of unselfishness. The ball's moving, everyone's touching it. They're sharing it. They don't have to force shots anymore. I think you'll see this Iowa State offense begin to click and look like its former self.
Noah Reynolds had to take over the point guard opportunity after the season-ending injury to Frankie Collins. Posey diving, taking it back. Reynolds, shot clock winding down, and it expired. Well, an effort by redshirt freshman Jace Posey, though, but they still wind up turning it over for a 4th time. Ames, Iowa, on this February day, and it's a 7-point lead for the 8th-ranked Cyclones.
Our customers have always been our priority.
Our customers are our family, and we want to make sure they know that we'll do everything in our power to lower prices, to be the place that they want to shop.
You're going to see the savings all over the store. We did a deep dive and we took advantage of every lower price, lower costs we could to make it better for our customers.
There's absolutely no reason to shop anywhere but Hy-Vee.
Cyclone fans know it's worth the hype. Unleaded 88 is cheaper, cleaner, and greener than regular unleaded. Plus, it's renewable and grown by farmers, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. Pump it up with Unleaded 88.
They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Maybe that's why scientists are trying to recreate real meat. But why tamper with what Mother Nature has already perfected? A high-quality protein, Iowa-raised meat is the original health food, with 9 essential amino acids necessary for the human diet, sustainably raised by Iowa farm families. But hey, keep at it. It's flattering that so many products want to be us.
At MidAmerican Energy, we're one company serving 1.6 million people who all need energy that's available 24/7. That's why we work 24/7. That's why we make investments in our systems that make us more resilient to extreme weather. That's why we generate power from all available resources to cover the variables in supply and demand. And that's why when the power is knocked out, we work around the clock to restore power to you. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
There's a spirit of innovation radiating from the Iowa State campus. You can feel it flowing through every building and in the hearts and minds of every person who studies and works here. It inspires a culture of creativity and collaboration unlike any other university, which is just one reason Iowa State was honored as the Entrepreneurial University of the Year for the Americas. At Iowa State, the spirit of innovation is in everyone, guiding us to create a brighter future for all.
Well, Iowa State has hit 7 of their last 8 shots, Randolph. What's working for them right now?
Well, they're just getting to the rim. They're dominating the paint right now. As Jackson there gets his chance early, runs the floor here. An offensive rebound off a missed free throw and put back. And Gilbert here, just great deep offense, splitting the help defense, throwing a lob. They're just getting point-blank layups at the rim. And when you're struggling with our offense and you need confidence, that's what the type of start you want to have here. Just getting point-blank layups, sharing the basketball, everyone's involved. And now it allows them to set their defense. And now you're getting the balance that we talked about in the open about which this team looked like a #1 seed in the NCAA tournament coming in. They're starting to take form again as they get their full complement of roster players.
You saw that the Cyclones have 14 points in the paint of their 16, and TCU has not scored any points in the paint so far today.
No one besides Trezarian White has made a field goal.
Jones, high pass, Heisey skies. Shot clock's at 3. Jones going to spin. He's going to have to put it up. Tried to kiss off the glass. It didn't hit the rim, and even though Uday had the rebound, shot clock expires. It's at 4 turnovers for the Cyclones.
It's just great defense for TCU. Now, this team they don't score a bunch, but they keep themselves in it. There's a physicality on the defensive end of the floor from the Horned Frogs, keeping the basketball out of the paint that time. Allowed them to get a shot clock violation.
You know, keeping it close for Jamie Dixon's team, a big deal, obviously, here in a place like Hilton Coliseum. They've done well in close games. TCU this year in games decided by 5 points or less, 6-1 on the season.
Well, that's their style of play. They're not going to – if someone has an out-of-body experience and gets really hot and they score a ton, that's great. But they're going to – it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a fist fight with them. So close games, they just have to have someone make plays and make shots late in the shot clock like
and
this.
It's right now. Here's Alette. Got it off in time. But still no points for anybody from the field with the exception of White for TCU. Lipsy. And a rebound pulled down by David Punch, the freshman out of Parker Heights, Texas. Long down, look there. First points in the paint. And that lob and slam by Uday.
And Jamie Dixon mentioned to us, there's going to be some opportunities from Uday in the bigs and punching those guys on the front line, trying to beat the Iowa State front line guys down the floor, try to get a couple easy baskets. If you don't get lobs, you get seals and post-ups, and that time they were rewarded with an easy lob.
Jefferson for Chatfield. And a shot to the forehead of Noah Reynolds, who seems to be okay.
Another point-blank basket there. Getting the ball to the rim off the bounce, and another 16 points in the paint here for Iowa State. Just unable to guard the basketball right now for TCU.
Tipped around and good. That was Vashon Alette who came flying in to get a hand on that. Alette coming off a game-high 22 points against West Virginia the other night with 11 rebounds, a double-double. So he got his own miss. Able to tip it in. Tipped around here by Chatfield and out. Antonio Petty looks, and they're going to say it stays with Iowa State.
Well, if it's TCU, this is something you got to get a chance to steal baskets, rim run big. You won't get any easier than that.
Something you can do with Uday there. Maybe something TCU needs to do, try to get out in transition a little more.
Have to, because again, we talked about their struggles on the offensive end of the floor, and The best way to beat Iowa State down the floor is just beat their defense before it sets up.
After all that, Gilbert keeps possession for Iowa State. Shot clock at 4, and clearing space. Deshaun Jackson not to be denied. He's off to a big start today. He's got 5.
Well, I'm just saying, wait a minute. How can we leave him wide open underneath the basket? And again, another paint point for the Cyclones.
Uday looking around. Has to go with it somewhere. 3 off the back heel from Brendan Wenzel, and a 1 and done for the Frogs. Lipsy gives it up. Gilbert took a shot. He keeps driving it, threw it over the head of Jefferson. Turnover is a bit of an issue here for Iowa State. That's 5. They average about 11 a game.
You can see they're trying to get back to being a little bit unselfish. They're not turnovers. They're not bad turnovers. It allows them there. That's a dead ball turnover. They can set their defense. They're having a bunch of turnovers, trying to make extra passes. You can live with that because they're trying to get back to that. They dug themselves in a hole early offensively, trying to force shots. Gilbert and Lipsy and these guys having to drive and take shots in the paint and difficult shots. Now they're back to moving the basketball. A couple of ill-advised passes, but they're starting to look like themselves, and you're okay with that.
Looking to trap Alette. Wenzel. Diallo turns, kind of lost the handle of the ball with the shooting hand and couldn't get it on the rim. And then Alette trying to impede Lipsy, charged with a foul.
They're speeding TCU up with the quick traps on the ball screen. They're rotating and doubling in the post. Got to be quick to identify where the opening man is when those double teams come. TCU now trying a little zone.
Gilbert thought about shooting over that zone. Lipsy does. Rebound right into the arms of David Punch. Under 8 minutes to go. First half from Ames. Alette in a crowd batted around. Kept alive by Diallo. White, floater from the free throw line. His 3rd bucket of the game for Trezarian White.
White's been so good. Patience there. Didn't force the 3. Good shot fake. Just drove to the middle of the lane and shot his floater.
And Iowa State's going to use their first timeout. It's going to take us to the under 8.
Iowa State controlling the interior of this game so far with 18 points in the paint. Here's another one. Jackson, you won't get it much easier than that. This goes up with the flush. Great game here in Ames.
Yeah.
Downtime for the Bankers Trust free throw for dough. Cameron Weirs from Urbandale will get 1 attempt to make a free throw to win $100 from Bankers Trust. If Cameron misses,
all right, same thing again.
$100 to the next
all right.
Bankers Trust free throw for dough until we have a winner. Good luck, Cameron.
Coming up tonight on ESPN at 6:30 Eastern, a Sonic blockbuster with Dickie V on the call. Cooper Flagg and number 2 Duke, they will take on Chase Hunter and Clemson, who are just a game behind the Blue Devils atop the ACC standings. Coming up tonight, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN. More from halftime in Ames after this. Points of the paint, the big story right now, Iowa State getting their share. Now, Jefferson is a big Randolph that will step out and shoot the three occasionally. That is definitely not the game for Jackson. What's TCU need to do differently against those two big men for Iowa State?
They're guarding them on a perimeter, and it's opening up not just the bigs to drive it past them, as Jefferson done a few times. It's allowed Jones and the guards to get in the paint and score. It's why they're dominating the paint points. And when Iowa State has struggled in these last 3 games, and even going back to the West Virginia game, it's because they didn't guard those guys on the perimeter. They stayed in the paint and made it difficult for the guards to get downhill and score as well.
Iowa State going to use another timeout as the trap was an issue for Gilbert.
It's a great job there by Jamie Dixon. You can see TJ draws up a play for zone, expecting TCU to come out and be in his zone. He comes out in man, traps the ball screen, gets really aggressive in it, and forces a timeout for Iowa State. So now you got to draw up something that gives you the option that you can run against man or zone.
TJ Otzelberger in his 4th season as the head coach at Iowa State. 22 wins in his 1st season, took him to the Sweet 16. In fact, has been to a couple of Sweet 16s, went back last year. So 3 seasons, 3 NCAA trips for TJ Otzelberger, and expectations are high here in 2025.
And they should be. He has a team. I think this team is built to make a run. You know, when they get back and get healthy. And
Jackson was able to save it after that ball went off his foot, but threw it to White. So an Iowa State turnover, their 6th of this first half. Floater off the pocket pass to Punch. Jones feeds Momchilovich, who started this game. Missed his first 2 shots, now back in, and Jackson gets low again, and right now they just can't stop it. Diallo commits the foul.
Yeah, their size and physicality, and again, they're just getting the ball inside of the front line, playing bully ball there. Jackson gets it. You don't want to come and help. I'm just going to dribble. He wants to get back to that left shoulder. You got to know that. Diallo unable to keep him to his right side, and Jackson with another and one here.
8 points for Deshaun Jackson. Iowa State began the game in Lawrence the other night. 5 for their first 18. They're 10 for 15 to start today. And by the way, TCU is the team right now that has started the game 5 for 18.
What saved TCU is they forced 6 turnovers for Iowa State. When Iowa State's taking care of the basketball, they've gotten good shots.
Ouellette fouled. TCU trying to find some points around the basket here, Randolph, but everything they're putting up, it has to be in a hurry because that Iowa State defense has been tenacious.
Well, the one thing that this is how TCU wants to play, and more importantly, Deshaun Ouellette, this is his game. Getting downhill, getting to the rim, putting pressure on your bigs, drawing fouls like he did there. He's struggling from the field here early, but they need him to stay aggressive.
Spent his freshman year last year at Old Dominion, and I mentioned the game-high 22 points he had with 11 rebounds in the win over West Virginia a couple nights ago in Fort Worth.
With them losing Frankie Collins and what he meant, I mean, he was leading his team in scoring and rebounding. I mean, the scoring, steals, and assists, and that's a lot of production, and then you throw a lot on Ouellette's plate. He and Reynolds have so much offensive responsibility for this group.
Zarian White off the bench. Just keeping him in the game right now. He's hit all 3 of his shots. Trey in the game right now for TCU.
And he's one guy that has the experience. Again, he's been a 20-game scorer and has the confidence in the game to put up many points. But here's Lipsy with another unforced turnover.
7 turnovers and a travel called before the shot by Robinson, and now TCU's turned it over 6 times. TCU, they average also about 11 turnovers a game.
There's some confusion there on whether the bigs in the middle ball screen, if he's rolling or if he's, the bigs are short rolling, the guards are expecting the bigs to roll to the rim.
Curtis Jones, leading three-point shooter in attempts and makes. Now has 8 points as he drains his first, and that's first made three of the game for Iowa State on their third attempt.
He's sliding back into that role of coming in off the bench and just being in attack mode.
Zealand picks up his second foul.
Just coming off, Gilbert comes off and sets him up. White has to tag, and you've got to get them to close out to Jones. Cannot leave him open for any looks.
Iowa State with their largest lead of the day at 10 points. Diallo just throws it right over the head of White, an unforced mistake there. And
they're not going to let you reverse the basketball. You can't do the dribble handoffs. They're forcing you back door where they know help is there, and they forced TCU into a couple of turnovers there.
Gilbert, as Chatfield rolls towards the rim. He shot bounces it back for Curtis Jones. Jones shoots over White. Tough shot. And nothing but net for Curtis Jones. Back-to-back threes for number 5. And timeout TCU. Iowa State 10 points off those 7 TCU turnovers now.
Curtis Jones is starting to heat up here. Again, comfortable putting it on the floor, and a snatch back deep three. He knocks it down, and sight for sore eyes if you're an Iowa State Cyclone fan. See Curtis Jones get back on track.
He leads all scorers with 11 points. He's 4 of 4 from the field. 2 of those three-pointers. The only shots he missed today uncharacteristic. He missed 2 at the line early on.
I mean, he was just fantastic. I mean, coming off the bench, he was just instant offense. In the last 3 games, as we talked with the paint closing up, it just forced. And he shot up on the scouting report. I don't think people realize coming off the bench, you're on the report, but you're talking about the other guys.
Yeah.
He became a starter, and he was playing so well, he became the focus of the team when you were starting. And I think that led to his struggles, along with Lipsy being injured and slow and Momchilovich being out.
Posey got his own miss, put back and score. That ends the 6-0 run for Iowa State. They were spurred by the Jones threes. And Jace Posey, redshirt freshman, gets his first bucket.
Got to get a few more opportunities like that on the offensive glass. You're not a great shooting team, but when it goes up on the glass, they've got to crash the glass and give themselves some second chance points.
You see 5 offensive rebounds for TCU, but another 3 for guess who? Don't leave him open right now.
You can't play him in drop coverage. You can't sit in the paint. Uday has to come up and close out.
Now they look to trap Reynolds, who squeaks through, and they get it to Uday. And Heisey knew he had to foul or give up the uncontested jam, and he commits the foul. Under 4 minutes to go in the first half on this game day in Ames.
And now, please welcome your Iowa State dance team.
Curtis Jones back to his comfortable role of coming off the bench, and he's also back in his comfortable role of getting buckets. As you can see, 14 points and 5 of 5 shooting. And when you've knocked down a couple in a row, you see comes off this ball screen. Uday, in drop coverage, sits in the rim. And you don't, as a guard, you love to see that. He stops and pops and knocks down another 3. And that rim is starting to look like the ocean. The Curtis Jones, who's, like I said, he hasn't missed a shot. And I can tell you from experience, Mark, shooters always think about the next shot. You don't care. There's no such thing as a slump. I can tell you that. And he isn't worried about that at all. He's feeling good and he's looking good.
Last year was his first season with the Cyclones. He played in all 37 games, started 1 time, so came off the bench 36 times. This year, forced into that starting role the last 8 games. And now coming back off the bench, it's certainly, as you alluded to, the role he seems to embrace.
That says a lot about him, because in today's climate, kids would welcome the opportunity to go somewhere else. He could start anywhere, and that he chose to be here and come off the bench, and even the way he's been playing, to just make that transition back to the bench.
Like I said earlier, he's got a chance to be first team All Big 12 at the end of this season.
Absolutely.
As the 6th man. He's going to win that 6-man award without a doubt, I don't think.
I think that's the easiest vote you're going to have in the conferences. 6th man of the year.
Joshua Jefferson. That skip pass a little slow, and it's picked up by Uday. Their 8th turnover down low. Some contact from Chatfield, sends Wenzel to the ground, and he's fouled.
That's an incredible defensive effort on the other end by Uday. He comes down and takes the guy. They double the post. He comes down and takes away the rim, and then gets out and steals the pass and starts to break.
You know, Uday is the only returning scholarship player from last year for TCU, who played his freshman year at Kansas, and then when Hunter Dickinson came on the scene, Bill Self basically said, hey, Hunter's here. He's going to be here probably for a couple of years. Uday comes to TCU, and he's a player that has been a huge contributor for them.
He has, and Jamie Dixon loves his mobility and what he brings. He's physical, he's active.
TCU hanging in because of the free throws. They have 7 made free throws, 6 made field goals. Just over 3 minutes to play in the first half in Ames.
Extended the pressure there. They're trying to give token pressure just to protect the paint, give themselves less time to defend on that end. But their inability to keep the ball out of the paint, just creating too many issues and opportunities for the Cyclones.
Rashawn Ouellette just picked up his 2nd personal.
Decision time for Jamie Dixon. Do you set him? Do you leave him? Such a big part of your offensive identity.
He's just going to lead you there. He's the first TCU player to 2 personals. And Posey comes out with Punch taking his place.
Yeah, they're down right now, and you don't want this game to get out of hand. You want to try to get it under 10 points. You don't want it to balloon to 15 to 20 before halftime.
Yeah, you've got to leave Ouellette in this game.
Yeah, you just got to trust him. He's young, and you got to trust him and just say, hey, don't commit a foul. The problem is there's nowhere to hide him on the defensive end of the floor. Any one of the guards that he defends is an offensive threat. They're going to attack him.
Reynolds back to Ouellette. That's a 3. Wenzel off the heel. Rebound into the arms. Taman Lipsey. Ouellette has to get in the way there. Jefferson, but it rolled right to Jackson, and that's TCU's luck right now. Not much. 10 points here for Jackson.
You see they went right at Ouellette there. He's switching, trying to stay off the ball, and that time there's a little contact, got a little lucky. The official didn't blow the whistle.
Punch, staggered, and travels. That's 8 TCU turnovers, each team with 8.
Yeah, that's a let there. You just kind of laying there. Getting out of the way, the ball bounces to Jackson.
Iowa State is 14 and 19 from the field in this first half. They've hit their last 5 from the field. We come up on the 2-minute mark. Jones took a little hit and misses his first field goal miss of the day after hitting his first 5. Quickly, Reynolds. I think that's going to go on Deshaun Jackson.
That was a heat check shot there by Jones. It's not a great shot. Those are the shots that they were taking before that kind of put you in a slump. Misses that shot. They're unable to set their defense. Reynolds pushes it up the floor and draws the foul.
That's 2 on Jackson for Iowa State. He joins Momchilovich with 2 personals. If you're just joining us, Milan did start today, missed his first couple of shots. He's played 9 minutes of this first half.
You're just happy to get him back.
No question.
Let him get his legs up under him. You're not sure if his conditioning is where it needs to be, but I think his conditioning is further along because it's a hand injury. He's still able to run and do things. It's just the timing.
Well, game day was here today. They bring energy, but when Momchilovich came on the floor while game day was live on air, the place went nuts. So he brought some energy too, certainly to this crowd. Jones, floater, rebound. Jefferson with the left hand scores.
And that's what dribble penetration does.
So that low post combination for Iowa State been very effective. 8 for Jefferson. Jackson with 10.
Last thing you want to see is the big comes over to help as a guard. I got to rotate over and keep Jackson or Jefferson off the glass. I want no part of that.
Reynolds bumped into Jefferson, who lowered his left hand and knocked the ball free. And at the other end, more points off turnover. This time coming from Keyshawn Gilbert. His first basket.
They're turning defense into offense now, and it's starting to get away. We talked about it a couple of minutes ago. With TCU, you wanted to cut it within 10, not see it extend to 20.
Threads it to Uday. Nice assist for Ouellette that time, and Uday has 6.
Great seal there by Uday, wedging his defender up the lane, creating space. Throw it over the top for the easy dunk.
About 7-second difference, shot clock and game clock.
You see Jefferson, run up. I think Jefferson will run up and set a flat ball screen there. Try to get Lipsy downhill.
Lipsy will start making his move with 7 on the shot clock. Gilbert turns the corner, gets it to Jefferson. Josh shoots and scores. See if TCU, they got to hurry if they want to get a shot off here. Ouellette spinning, and he's going to just run out the clock. Never got a shot attempt away. And it takes us to the end.
They're looking like a team that may be out of the Big 12 regular season, but they feel really good about their chances of getting to San Antonio.
Well, TCU begins the second half with possession. Ouellette played the end of that first half with 2 fouls successfully. Punch, drives, turns, and shoots way too strong. On the offside, though, there's Uday to keep it alive. Reynolds, the lefty's 3. And 2 chances there for TCU.
One thing that's happening with the younger players, and I'd include Punch and Ouellette with them, is that the pressure and the double teams are speeding them up. They just seem a little bit rushed. And they're off their games a little bit. The freshmen, the young guys need to slow down a little bit.
Gilbert hesitates and kisses it in.
But if they don't stop that basketball, Mark, and keep it out of the paint, I don't think anything else we talk about they need to do is going to matter. That's operation number 1 right there, is stop the basketball from entering the paint.
So 1 minute gone here in this second half, and you see points in the paint. 3-1 favoring Iowa State. And a 1 and done for TCU. Long pass, too long, picked off that time by Reynolds. Ouellette, before the shot went up, foul on the floor.
That's the only thing I think T.J. Otzelberger can be disappointed in this group. They're trying to be unselfish, but just the execution of some of those passes. Just a lot of unforced turnovers. I know the turnover margin is even, but a lot of theirs have been unforced. They've done a great job creating it from TCU, but a lot of theirs have just been like that, just unforced turnovers.
Ouellette. Spin move, nice pass. Can he finish? No. But does get the foul. I'll tell you what, Ouellette had to get creative just to get the ball down low there.
That's a great look and find. You saw him cutting. I didn't know he saw it. Punch cutting on a baseline, and that's a great pass.
Lipsy, who did not commit a personal in the first half, has picked up 2 quick ones here in 13 seconds. First free throw knocked down by Punch. His first point of the game. 49% foul shooter on the year.
It gives him a chance to see the ball go through the basket. Physicality on the front line from Iowa State, and they often come and double the post. Seems to be speeding up the young guys.
So compression there for TCU. Lipsy feeds Jefferson. Maneuvers and can't get that one to go as it rolled out. Ouellette on the run.
That's the pass we've seen Iowa State use quite a bit in the first half. They had a couple of turnovers on it early.
The kick to the open 3 did not draw iron for Punch. Gilbert floater down low. Jackson can't be stopped down there. He has a dozen.
Yeah, again, just another easy penetration layup there. Sean Jackson doesn't have to work hard for his 5 made baskets right there. I don't think he's had a shot outside of 3 feet.
He's 5 of 6. And that's 10 turnovers now for TCU. Jamie Dixon's team won 2 in a row coming in. 5 and 6 in conference play.
You can see him now trying to encourage his group. Last couple of possessions on both ends of the floor has been discouraging, and tried to go back and go zone, and it's one pass dribble penetration floater.
And the points in the paint total for Iowa State just keeps growing. Reynolds, 17-footer, got it.
Great snatch back there.
5 points for Noah now. His 5 points in his 18 minutes. Lipsy, blind pass into the corner. They want this to go. Oh, the home fans are happy that Mommy's back. First bucket for Momchilovich, back after missing 7 games. game day was here today, so the crowd was here early. Momchilovich entered the building, entered the floor, and the game day crowd went nuts. Happy to see Milan back after missing 7 games with a left hand injury. You can certainly tell he is a fan favorite, even when he was hitting shots in the pregame warm-up. And now he's got his first bucket since coming back.
Yeah, you can see the energy in the building when he walks in. It was already loud, but when he walked in, it got even louder. And when he hit that last basket, instant standing ovation for Milan Momchilovich.
Kudos to the crowd at Hilton Coliseum because the choreography, everybody is spot on.
Unbelievable atmosphere. It's been amazing to be a part of.
Yeah, your first time here.
It is. It is. Instantly vaulted into my top 3 places.
It's awesome.
Mackey, yeah, you got to go to Mackey and Purdue. That's always. And then Allen Fieldhouse and Cameron would be my other.
Heisey, Steele, and Stuff. Second bucket for Nate today. Off the Cyclones bench, the 11th TCU turnover. Ouellette. Kicked out by Uday. Quick pass into the corner. Open 3. White just a little off the mark. He's made their only successful 3s today in the first half.
The dangerous thing about this Iowa State team is they're like a pack of piranhas. Once it starts, Mark, it's everyone that gets involved. They're feeding off of it. It's fun to watch.
Not often do you see a crowd react that vociferously for a 3-point attempt to put your team up by 28 points.
It's not like it's a close shot. It's a game-defining moment.
No. Ouellette with a bucket. But they love Milan Momchilovich. And are very happy to have him back. And no question, even though his impact has been marginal, this is big for Iowa State going down the road, the Big 12, to finish off with him back.
Well, it does, because as we said, we lamented, it's just his versatility and what he brings. The scoring, this team offensively is at its best when they just share the basketball. And when he was out, it just put a tremendous amount of pressure on the guards who begin to force things a little bit.
Nice find by Ouellette for Uday. 8 points now for Ernest. He joins White as the leading scorer for TCU.
Uday's been solid. His activity's been really good. You can see now, no more drop coverage. He has to get up on those ball screens.
Chatfield trying to steal it back, and he had a letdown on the deck. We're going to call the foul, I believe, on Ouellette. So we come to a timeout with 14.5 minutes left in Ames.
There are those who see the world through a different lens, who take risks, who are willing to make a stand. Because trails, they aren't blazed by the timid, but by the bold. For 150 years, TCU has been creating the next generation of leaders. To think audaciously, care compassionately, lead heroically. And now it's our turn, our time to lead on.
Attention TCU fans, get ready for an electrifying season of women's basketball. The 2024-25 season is here, and the Horned Frogs are ready to put on a show. Join us as our star-studded roster featuring Haley Van Lith, Sedona Prince, and Madison Connor take the court. This season, we're facing off against powerhouses like NC State, Baylor, and West Virginia that are sure to bring intensity. Be part of the excitement and secure your tickets today at gofrogs.com. It is showtime.
Lock in, TCU fans. It's time for Horned Frog Hoops. The fastest team in the country is back in action. Jamie Dixon and the Frogs are looking to run their way to a 4th straight NCAA tournament. You won't want to miss a second of the high-flying Frogs this season. Get your season tickets today at gofrogs.com, and we'll see you soon at the Showmont.
There are those who see the world through a different lens, who take risks, who are willing to make a stand. Because trails, they aren't blazed by the timid, but by the bold. For 150 years, TCU has been creating the next generation of leaders. To think audaciously, care compassionately, lead heroically. And now, it's our turn, our time to lead on. There are those who see the world through a different lens, who take risks, who are willing to make a stand. Because trails, they aren't blazed by the timid, but by the bold. For 150 years, TCU has been creating the next generation of leaders. To think audaciously, care compassionately, lead heroically. And now, it's our turn, our time to lead on.
Oh, no question. Hilton Coliseum, one of the great home courts in all of college basketball. They went unbeaten here last year, 18-0. Fifth time in school history that they went unbeaten on this floor and won 29 of their last 30. That one loss came in the last game here against Kansas State on February 1st. And TJ Otzelberger's won 86% of his games as the head coach here of the Cyclones. They've made 23 field goals in this game. They made 38 combined in the last two games. So the offense seems to have refound its touch back here at home.
They have, and it's just balanced scoring. This looks like the team that we fell in love with, you know, for most of the season. They're sharing the basketball. They've actually forced turnovers, being unselfish, trying to make the right play. I think that's the only thing you could complain about there is, as soon as I say that, Jones has a turnover. I jinxed him.
Posey scores in transition. Get some points off turnover. Fourth point for Posey tonight or this afternoon. Chatfield lost the handle. He's trying to keep it away from the three purple shirts around him.
That's the second time Chatfield. Ball gets on the ground. He goes down and gets it. Keeps the possession for the Cyclones here.
Branton Chatfield.
Those are the things you have to do when you're coming in off the bench. You know, that's just, that may not be important to this game, but it's important to the team and what they're about. And guy coming off the bench, getting on the floor like that, keep the possession there in your favor.
Izzy dumping it down low, looking for Jefferson, but turns it over and trying to turn points into turnover. Let's see if TCU can do it here. White into a double team, just tried to throw a shot up and gets fouled.
That's where the Cyclones have gotten in trouble. They've done a great job. It's the only thing that, like I said, TJ Otzelberger can complain with his group about is they're trying to be intentional in making the extra pass. And a couple of times they're just so unselfish. They're having shots. They're turning down shots. And unfortunately for them, they're making turnovers doing so. And they'll watch film. They'll settle down, realize just shoot those shots. And they're making turnovers for being unselfish rather than being selfish, and that's the big difference.
Keyshawn Gilbert back on the floor. Taking Nate Heisey's spot. 1-2 for White, so it's a 7-0 run here for TCU. Got down by as many as 28.
Extend your pressure.
Jefferson puts it on the floor. Jones kicks a Gilbert three. They had hit their last 5 3-pointers in a row prior to that miss. Lipsy trying to get it to Jackson, and White on the reach in.
Jackson just carves out space. You have to get into a full front when he rolls. You can't stay behind him. Just too big. Gives those guards just an easy pass when he gets under the rim and seals you.
TCU on about a 3-minute scoring drought here. Or I should say Iowa State on a 3-minute scoring drought. Lipsy into the arms of White.
TCU doing a great job of just changing defense. pressuring you back to man, then time baseline out of bounds, they're going zone. They're doing just a really good job of changing their defense.
Well, Reynolds able to get to the rim and lay it in. 7 points for Noah, and a 9-0 run here for TCU, and the Iowa State fans starting to get a little restless, but not too bad with the deficit cut down. And Jackson foul. That's been a common theme, just whether it's been Jackson or Jefferson down low, getting a lot of easy looks at the rim.
It's something that it's a skill set that Jefferson and Jackson have that I don't think many people talk about, is their ability to pass the basketball. I mean, they don't have to run anything extravagant, just cut on the baseline and they can play a two-man game with each other. They're just unselfish. Their vision of not just play high-low with one another, but find the guards as well. And they're not working hard against that zone when they settle down.
Jefferson, who played at St. Mary College, Sean Jackson, 3 years at Washington State, then last year 1 year at Charlotte.
He fits in well here in Iowa.
14 points, 5 rebounds for Deshaun today. It ends a little bit of a scoring drought for the Cyclones as we're about 12.5 minutes left here in half number 2 from Ames today. White. Trey flips it up off the left side, and the long arms. Jefferson corral the rebound. Momchilovich, quick pass. Jones from the corner. Loose ball on the deck, tipped around, coming this way, and Gilbert and Reynolds fighting for that one, coming right towards us, and the fans in the expensive seats in the first row.
Well, I thought they were about to end up in our lap. Great job by Gilbert there. He got to the ball and faked as if he was going to grab it. Reynolds ends up tipping it and tipping it out of bounds.
Gilbert bounces off the rim. Jefferson saves it by throwing it off of Noah Reynolds. And timeout with exactly 12 minutes left. Oh, we did have some snow in Ames. 58-37 ISU.
Experience the credit union difference by visiting GICU.
Well, Iowa State's missed their last 5 shots, but they are up by 21. And that last play before we went to break where Jefferson saved the ball off Reynolds. But I want you to watch TJ Otzelberger. We'll circle him, the head coach for Iowa State. As the play resumes, Jefferson's going to save this ball along the baseline. He's going to throw it off Reynolds of TCU right here. And then watch TJ Otzelberger. And his team's up 21 with 12 minutes to go. And he's like, yeah, I like that enthusiasm.
Mark, that's what we talked about earlier with Chatfield getting on the floor. I mean, those are possessions that you may not look at in a 21-point game and think much of. But when it's a one-possession game, those are the type of plays we call winning plays. And his frontline guys, or his team in general, are giving you that type of effort. It's impressive.
By the way, today I accidentally parked us in his wife Allison's spot here at Hilton Coliseum. And the last person I want to upset is the Allison Lacey Otzelberger. So, Allison, my apologies. We got the car out of there in a hurry.
Allison, I'm here to set the record straight. Mark knew it was your spot and just said, hey,
no,
you can find somewhere else to go. No, we're kidding. We know who the superstar is in the family,
exactly.
the real ball player.
I told TJ I didn't want to upset the real athlete in the family. Oh, Jefferson there. It's a block, long outlet, tipped by Jones. It's loose. Finally scooped up by Diallo. Reynolds going to lean in. And Momchilovich is the one that eventually winds up with the rebound.
This is where Iowa State has to show a level of maturity. And taking care of the basketball, and you get up big, you get sloppy.
Robinson with the stuff. 14 turnovers for Iowa State. That is 3 over what they normally have in a game. They average 11. And TCU gets it under 20.
And there's a lot of time left in this game.
There is. Here comes Jackson with Diallo. By the way, Allison Otzelberger, whose maiden name is Lacey, Allison Lacey, was 3-time All-Big 12 at Indiana State, was a WNBA champ with Seattle. She's in the Hall of Fame here at Iowa State. And I made the major mistake of parking in her spot today. That won't happen again. Won't happen again.
Well, they should have her name plate up right there. Like, you should know, it shouldn't just be a number there. Just put her name up.
Why do you keep burying me? That's
the Hall of Famer. Just say this is the Hall of Famer spot. We would have known that. Yes. I'm involved in it with you. You were behind the wheel, but I was riding shotgun, so as much as my fault as it is yours. So sorry, Allison, we didn't know.
A couple of chances there from Momchilovich. They leave a left wide open. He's just a little bit long off the heel. And then a couple of teammates crashed into one another. Robinson and Punch. Haven't had any made field goals for Iowa State in 6 minutes. And Momchilovich changes that right as it hits the midway point of the second half.
His layups get standing ovations.
Yes. Robinson, pull up, got it. Micah Robinson, impressive freshman from Kansas City, his second basket.
Great job there, coming off the pin down. Getting that mid-range jump shot to fall.
Gilbert elects to drive. Nice move, and he finishes.
Been hurting you all game long coming off that ball screen. That time Gilbert rejects it, takes the contact, and finishes.
And 8 points for Keyshawn Gilbert. And TCU, I believe, is called a timeout here. Momchilovich, he's not all about shooting the three. He does have other elements to his game.
Yeah, he shows it here. Drives the closeout with the lay on the glass, and he's a versatile scorer. And his versatility as a player is what you're so excited about of getting back in. You can see he's sucking in a lot of oxygen right there. He's needs a little bit more time to get his conditioning back up to speed, but sight for sore eyes for the Cyclones, getting him out there. And his impact is going to be huge for this group moving forward.
In his sophomore year last year as a freshman, Big 12 all-freshman team, had a great high school career at Milwaukee High School in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, won 3 consecutive state titles his sophomore, junior, and senior years of high school. He used to win it at that level. He was part of that Sweet 16 team last year for TJ Otzelberger, and a team that may find their way back to that #1 seed line before things are said and done at the end of this regular season. Right now, Lunardi has him as a 3 seed.
Complete and whole, I definitely think they're a lot higher than that. You would not want to play them as a 3 seed, or any seed for that matter. But
boy, Heisey giving the effort. I'm going to stay with TCU, but Nate giving up the body.
And this is what we're talking about from the bench. This time it's Heisey just coming in and throwing their bodies around, diving on the floor. They just showing you the value of how important the basketball is.
You know, Nate's from Minnesota. He played at Northern Iowa. His sister Taylor played hockey at University of Minnesota and also the U.S. women's national team hockey. So the Heisey family is used to sacrificing the body.
Yeah, nothing wrong with a little physicality there. He had no choice.
Ouellette can't get it to fall in off the glass. Lipsy got hung up there for a moment. And as Uday took it away, the whistle of Rick Crawford gets blown, and it's going to be a TCU foul. Ernest, his second.
That's just experience, what you saw there. He's just coming down the floor, really not looking to attack. Uday doesn't come back and get in front of the basketball and corral him. He just cuts in front, really driving not to score but to get the foul, knowing that his team's in the bonus and gets a chance to get some easy free throws. It's great experience from a really talented point guard.
Lipsy was scoreless prior to these free throws. It's 1 of 2. He was 1 of 6 3-point shooting at Kansas the other night.
And Mark, now with their team whole, he gets to go back. That's where he makes a massive impact of the game. Heating up the basketball, being at the point of attack on both ends of the floor. I think during this stretch, he had to assume so much of an offensive scoring that is taken away from the other things that he does so well, like heating up the ball.
Now, Momchilovich is obviously a fan favorite, but Tamin Lipsy, because he went to Ames High School, also is on that short list of fan favorite players here at Hilton Coliseum.
He may be the favorite.
Jackson says, I should have had that one, and that's the 15th Iowa State turnover. So if you want to get nitpicky about Iowa State's performance, the turnovers have certainly been at a high rate today.
And that's another one we talked about. It's a turnover from being unselfish. And those are the ones you can live with. You see it, it's an extra pass. It's the right pass. Can't be perfect. And coaches are never satisfied anyway. It just gives them something to complain about.
You never know with turnovers because Kansas beat them by, what was it, 17 points the other night in Lawrence. And Iowa State only turned it over 7 times in that game. So turnovers aren't the end-all, be-all, but I'm sure they're not happy with the number that they have today.
They've had quite a few turnovers that allowed them to set their defense. That's been the big thing. It's been dead ball turnovers. It's the live ball pick sixes that get you in trouble.
Ouellette from the free throw line. Now with 7 points. Ouellette has had to work for those 7 points pretty hard today.
It has been challenging.
He's 3 for 11 from the field. Uday is going to get the foul as he reached over Jackson, so that's number 3 on Ernest. And we come to the under 8. 7:40 to play in Ames. Number 8 Iowa State leads it by 20.
Proceeds benefit the American Cancer Society and Coaches vs. Cancer program.
this morning, College Game Day made its first trip to Ames in 10 years.
The sun's been out here since Wednesday. He needs a little help, I think.
Fans are great. It's not yet packed in here, but they are filing in.
The juicy wiggle has us rolling here at Ames. Let's go, baby. That's what today's about.
Second time in school history for College Game Day to come here. First time in 10 years. They were here in 2015 as well. Reese, Jay Will, Andrea, Seth. I understand Billis actually kind of came in remotely from his Auburn game today.
He did.
And a nice gathering here for Game Day, which is normally done a good 6-8 hours before tip. It ran right up to tip today, which is something a little unusual, but fun to be a part of.
It definitely was.
A Jefferson 3, we mentioned he can step out and shoot those. It's his 40th three-point attempt of the year. He's hit 12.
That's the first time I've seen TCU just back up and allow him to shoot. They'll give their big space on the perimeter.
Manning trying to defend Jefferson, able to do so. Isaiah Manning in the game for the first time today for TCU, redshirt freshman. Number 1 for TCU. Alette. Well, we had that at the other end of the court earlier. We didn't know if it was a lob or a shot, and I think both were shots, because that was definitely a shot, and he has 9 points.
More importantly, Uday doesn't know whether it's a shot or it's a pass.
He interrupted the first one in the first half. Jefferson gets his head down, spins, shoots, goes to the left hand, and one. A dozen points for Joshua Jefferson. He can play down low. He can shoot threes occasionally. Number 4 on Uday. Well, this was the shot from a few moments ago.
Just a great job there. Just driving, spinning, getting the angle on Uday. Jefferson's been outstanding offensively. Just really scoring it, getting to the rim at will. Really good passing as well. Just doing what he's done all year long.
He's 1 rebound shy of a double-double. Finishes off that three-point play, and he now has 9 consecutive double-figure scoring games. A guy who had a career 30 against UCF not long ago and hit 3 threes in that game.
If he's knocking down threes, forget about it. I mean, with his ball handling ability, he uses his size well to create angles off the drive.
White tried to find Manning on the back cut, but it's the 13th turnover for the Frogs. Gilbert, 1 dribble, gives it up. Jefferson kicks to the corner. Momchilovich for Lipsy. Taman had trouble containing the dribble, but now an open 3.
Mark, this is the lineup that makes them so dangerous to me. Is now Momchilovich is at the 4, and either Jefferson or Jackson at the 5. It spreads the floor out and allows these guards now to get open looks and drive the ball.
About the same spot. Gilbert misses the 3. Momchilovich, by the way, 11 points. Loose ball underneath. Picked up by Milan. Gilbert punched out, loose, bounces right to Lipsy. Jones, deep 3.
And that's indicative of the matchup. Matchup nightmare, not Diallo's fault. Just was unfortunately left on Jones. Can't make that mistake.
4th made 3 of the game for Curtis Jones. 4 for 5 from beyond the arc, and it has sent Iowa State on a 9-0 run.
is what Momchilovich brings. Just the spacing on the floor. What he brings now, it opens the lane up, the ball movement, opens up the paint for everyone, and his spacing just changes everything. And here's again, coming off the ball screen. And that possession was created because when they sprinted back, TCU couldn't match up. Diallo that time left on Jones. That's just a mismatch all day long for the Cyclones.
Those were the first points of the half for Curtis. But now 22 ISU points off 15 TCU turnovers. It wasn't that long ago, Iowa State was a 1 seed for Lunardi. Right now they are a 3 seed. Got Kansas, Texas Tech at 3. Really looking forward to that Texas Tech-Arizona game late tonight on ESPN. Kansas has a reborn K-State team in Manhattan. That game coming up on ESPN in about 7 or 8 minutes.
Love this time of year. Everybody's coming down home stretch, fighting for position. If you're outside the bubble, you're trying to get in. If you're in, you're trying to play for a higher seed.
So Lunardi has 8 Big 12 teams in, with BYU one of the last 4 in, according to Joe. Under 5 minutes to go in Ames on this Saturday.
You just saw BYU. How'd they look to you?
They were going toe-to-toe with Arizona in Provo on Wednesday night, but with about 5 minutes left in the game, BYU just went cold. But it was a really high-level game through that point. Caleb Love, obviously a special player. And those 2 words are kind of dirty words in Ames right now. When you put Caleb and Love together after that shot in Tucson, sent it to overtime in an eventual Wildcat win, which sent Iowa State on this 3-game skid that looked to be breaking today. Posey lost possession, but it went off Gilbert last. Nine to shoot. They tried to throw it underneath for Manning. TCU's turned it over their last 3 possessions. Diallo just tried to get it to the rim, but couldn't. All that contact, he's looking around like, what was that?
Diallo saw the mismatch and saw he had Lipsy on him, a guard on him, and thought he could just attack him, and he thought he got the whistle and didn't get it.
Another 3 for Curtis Jones, his 5th of the day. 22 points coming off the bench again today. I think he likes that role.
I think he does. Can't believe TCU lost him that possession. He's not the guy you want to lose. Not today.
Missed by Manning. Out of bounds. Rick Crawford says it stays with the Frogs. 12-0 run right now for Iowa State. Up by 30 in Ames. Dickie V back, 6:30 Eastern tonight on ESPN. Cooper Flagg, number 2 Duke, taking on Chase Hunter and Clemson. Dickie V back on the air since April of 2023. Do you, Randolph Childress, have a favorite Dickie V moment involving yourself?
I do. As a junior, he called my Wake and Carolina game, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever when he called me a PTPer. I thought I had arrived once Dick Vitale had called me that.
If you were a freshman, you wanted to be a diaper dandy.
Yes.
If you were a veteran guy like you were like you were at that time, a PTPer. A primetime player.
Yes, right. So glad to have him back. It's awesome, baby!
Oh, you had to do it.
I couldn't resist it.
Under 4 minutes to go, and Robinson, the freshman, 6 points for Micah Robinson.
He's looked good. Made some good plays. That time putting it on the floor, and got to take small victories in a game like this. I mean, you knew coming in it'd be difficult to play, and be challenging, but this is an opportunity for some of these young guys to continue to play and take a step.
Gilbert kicks to Momchilovich. In the return of Momchilovich. And they've all come in this second half, too.
Just a perfect scenario for him to come back, and it gives confidence, not just for him, it's giving his team some energy. And again, they have a lot of versatility because, again, we're back to this lineup now. Momchilovich is playing more of like a stretch forward with the 3 guards out.
By the way, at last rebound for Jefferson has given him a double-double. He played, what, about 9 minutes in the first half, 0 for 2 from the field. He got into a little foul trouble. But the second half has put up all 14 of his points.
And it's not just those points, as we can see when he's spaced in that corner, what it's doing to the rest of the defense. Talking about a guy that's 44% from the three-point line. He is their most consistent three-point shooter.
Jefferson goes out with the double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds.
Yeah, they'll start to empty the bench now.
Speaking of the bench, coming off the bench, Curtis Jones off the bench today with Momchilovich back. And all he has is a game-high 24 points.
That's it?
That's all.
This one.
Look at that three-point shooting, 5 of 6.
Wow.
Kate Kelderman gets in. Oh, they got JT Rock ready to come in. The crowd likes this. And he's going to come in for Momchilovich.
I love it. It's always the best part of games like this now. It's when you're dealing with the tournament and all the number crunching and the analytics involved, teams don't always want to do it.
Saw Caden Fish in the game. Marion Watson. Wholesale line change for Iowa State with 2.5 minutes to go in the game. TCU trying to avoid their lowest point total in a game this year, which is 58. They had 58 in a win over South Alabama. 58-49 back in non-conference.
We'll see if they get enough possessions to eclipse that mark. They're going to need help from Iowa State. Quick shots, I think, to get that.
Noyes Indrasitis also in the game for Iowa State. Here's Indrasitis. Gets it back from Rock. Gets it to JT. JT! Rock!
Great job by Rock. Catching it in traffic.
He had 2 total points on the season. He just doubled that. I'm going to call Watson for the foul, stopping it with 1:28 left.
All of their bigs, you can tell they're well coached on catching it on a short roll. and either catching it in traffic and finishing or passing it out in the corner.
TCU goes back home after this game. They will take on Oklahoma State in Fort Worth on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock Central Time. But TJ Otzelberger's team, they're going to hit the road. So TCU will return home. Iowa State will go down to Orlando. They're at UCF. Game here on ESPN Plus at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, Tuesday night.
And that was a game here that was played early in the first half. It was a really competitive, close game. Second half, Iowa State pulled away.
Well, when we talked with TJ Otzelberger before the game, here's the team, the Cyclones, with 3 consecutive losses. Did Iowa State, especially with Momchilovich back today, kind of refine their groove?
I think they refound their groove, but more importantly, they refound their confidence. I think the demise of Iowa State has been drastically overrated. I mean, it took a 70-foot shot from Caleb Love to a game that they were in control of and very easily could have won. The Kansas State loss is disappointing. And they just, you know, Kansas State outplayed them and out-toughed them in that game. And losing at Big Monday in Allen Fieldhouse, I mean, Oklahoma City Thunder could lose a game on Big Monday in Allen Fieldhouse, and so there's nothing to feel bad about doing that. But they came out today, and took care of business.
Izzy back in there, has a steal. 16th TCU turnover. As we're inside the final 40 seconds, so Iowa State will improve to 18-5 overall. 8-4 in Big 12 play in that 3-game losing skid. TCU will drop to 12-11 and 5-7 in conference and see that 2-game winning streak halted.
It's a lot to overcome with what they've lost. This is a really young team as well. I mean, we talked about it with Uday, being the only returning scholarship guy.
4 in double figures today for Iowa State, led by Jones's 24, missed there by Indricitis. Posey races down, going for a slam from behind. Caden Fish came flying in to prevent the slam, but a foul. With 13 seconds left.
They just continue to fight. And Posey goes up to finish that. Shows you the athleticism he has. He's grown up around the game. Dad, James Posey, the 2-time NBA champion, now assistant coach with the Washington Wizards. He wouldn't be disappointed in his son's effort tonight. I know the score is lopsided, but he's given effort.
Definitely so. 7 points for Jace. The leading scorer for TCU today, actually 2 of them, Ouellette and Kazarian White with 9. Offensive rebound, Diallo. Malik off the heel and hanging on to it. Indricitis, and Iowa State will win it 82-52. 30-point win for the Cyclones in Hilton Coliseum.
Dominant performance, I think, by